Hey guys, I just wanted to quickly show you how to animate inside Cinema 4D. So I'm going to go up and create a cube just so we have something to move around, and I want to actually animate this in the Y axis. So I'm going to make sure I'm selected on the cube inside our Objects tab. Then I'm going to go down to our Coordinates in our Attributes tab. Anywhere you see these little buttons means that you can add a keyframe. So I'm going to actually add one in this Y. Then I'm going to scrub along on my timeline to 30 frames. Move this cube up and add another keyframe there. And then if we go back to the beginning of our timeline, press play, you can see that cube is moving upwards. Now if you're coming from After Effects and you're used to seeing this in a timeline, we can actually view this animation in a timeline, going up to Window and Timeline Dope Sheet, and this will be a bit more familiar as there is kind of keyframes and even curves there that you can change. So you can do easing here, you can even set this to linear. If you go over to interpolation, that will set linear keyframes. Back to spline if you want to add some curves there. So I'll just show you a couple more things. I'll delete this cube and I'll add a new one. There's a setting down here called auto keying. If we click that, go back to the beginning of our timeline, and we can move this cube and we can move along on the timeline. Each time we move the cube, we're going to automatically set keyframes, and this might be useful for you if you're more familiar with that workflow. Then just remembering to turn it off once you're done. We can play that back and you can see we get some animation there. Then the last thing, just deleting this again, starting with a new cube, going back to the beginning of our timeline. This button records the position, scale, rotation and PLA, which is point level animation, of any active objects. So let's click that and then move along on our timeline. Let's move it back in the Z and click it again. Now you can see that we've added keyframes on all of those positions. I don't tend to use this because then when we kind of go into our dope sheet, we have masses of keyframes that are set. I much prefer to kind of do things as and when I want them inside the Attributes tab. I hope that quick fix worked for you. Let me know in the comments. And if you're just getting started with Cinema 4D Lite and want to start learning the fundamentals, I've got a free course over on my website. There's a link in the description below.